there's certain people that you do not want to try and beat at their own game, and certainly Jeff Bezos would be number one. I mean, that'd be like me playing chess with Bobby Fischer 40 years ago to be all over on the first move. Jeff, he's just shown amazing talent in figuring out how to please customers in a very short time. And what's interesting to some extent about him, the same thing's interesting about Fred Smith of Federal Express. It isn't that they've had some breakthrough and found some molecule, this or that, or come up with some incredible invention. They've taken fairly ordinary things. I mean, starting buying books but Fred Smith took the airplane and the delivery truck and the postal service, but then he just put it together in a very imaginative way, with a central hub and all that, and came up with a whole new industry out of components that were known to everybody. And in a sense, Bezos has done the same thing. Now he's building big distribution centers and employing the latest technology. The Kindle came out of there, and there's some products, but overwhelmingly, he's taken things that you and I were buying before, and he's figured out a way to make us happier buying those products, either by fast delivery or prices or whatever it may be. And that's remarkable when you think about it.
Entrepreneur, media proprietor, investor, and commercial astronaut, Jeff Bezos has become a household name and one of the most influential figures in the business world. Under his leadership, Amazon has become one of the largest and most successful companies in the world, with a presence in nearly every industry imaginable. Coming from humble beginnings, Jeff began selling books on the internet from his garage to becoming one of the richest and most successful people on the planet, ingraining not only Amazon's name into everyday society, but his as well.
Went to my boss and said to him, I'm going to go do this crazy thing, and I'm going to start this company selling books online. Then he said, let's go on a walk. And we went on a 2-hour walk in Central Park in New York City. And the conclusion of that was this, he said, this actually sounds like a really good idea to me. But it sounds like it would be a better idea for somebody who didn't already have a good job. And he convinced me to think about it for 48 hours before making a final decision. And so I went away and was trying to find the right framework in which to make that kind of big decision. And I'd already talked to my wife about this, and she was very supportive and said, look, you can count me in 100%. So it really was a decision that I had to make for myself. And the framework I found, which made the decision incredibly easy, was what I called, which only a nerd would call, a regret minimization framework. So I wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I was not going to regret having wanted, trying to participate in this thing called the internet that I thought was going to be a really big deal. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me every day. So when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision. If you can project yourself out to age 80 and sort of think, what will I think at that time? It gets you away from some of the daily pieces of confusion. I left this Wall Street firm in the middle of the year. When you do that, you walk away from your annual bonus. And that's the kind of thing that in the short term can confuse you. But if you think about the long term, then you can really make good life decisions that you won't regret later.
Jeff's keen eye and ability to look proactively toward the future while taking calculated risk has contributed to his success. His instincts told him the internet was going to bring massive opportunity for those willing to be creative. Despite doubt and criticism from those around him, he knew taking this leap of faith would be the best decision for not only himself, but for future generations as well.